Hey y'all, this is Deborah. Welcome to my channel. So today I really wanted to talk a little bit about a gray journey. Um, I have recently gotten on a few Facebook groups supporting, giving emotional support and moral support to people, women, men, whoever wants to get on there, who are kind of on this journey of discovery, trying to decide if they're ready to go gray, how to get support for their going gray. And it's been really interesting to see some of the different reasons and um, different responses that people get to going gray. So, just to give you a little background on me, I have, let's see, I had my first gray crisis when my daughter was about 9, so I was not 40 yet. When it occurred to me that I had a lot more silver. We'd been on a camping trip and I had my hair pulled back in a ponytail, and in the picture you could just see all this white. And I was a little distressed because I was not 40 yet. And so I had colored my hair periodically during the years, different, a little redder, a little ashier, it's been several different colors. Um, so at that point, I decided I needed to get back on back with the dip in my hair to not look old. Well, okay, that's a valid concern, you know. Um, but a couple of years later, I had a big allergic reaction to hair dye, and it was not my choice. I could no longer color my hair, so I had to I had to go cold turkey with the hair dye. And it was kind of painful for that growing out stage where you could see that line where the color ends and the rest of the color, your natural color, begins. Needless to say, 15 years ago, did not have this much white in the growing out stage, but you could still see exactly where I was growing my hair. Fortunately, I was working as an OR nurse at the time, so I spent most of my workday with a bonnet on my head and nobody could see. But it was still difficult. It was a year-long process, or a little bit longer actually, because my hair is longer. To get to the end to grow out all the color and to just kind of come to terms with the silver that was showing up. And as I have gotten grayer, silverer, I get compliments all the time on the color of my hair, which is fine. That's very nice. Um, I've never had anybody tell me, your hair makes you look really old. And that's really one of the things that has been interesting, is that women come and tell me, they'll say, I love your hair. I wish I were brave enough to do that, to let mine grow out. I wish I was brave enough. And so I have in the past, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, I've joined a couple of groups on Facebook about going gray, and I'm kind of dug into some different things, trying to find out what it is that requires bravery for going gray. I didn't have a choice. My family didn't give me a hard time. I'm an only child, so I didn't have a sister to tell me, to give me a hard time. My mom didn't care. Um, I'm an only child. My mom thinks I'm spectacularly beautiful. If I were wearing a croaker sack and had mud in my hair, she would still think I was beautiful because I'm still her baby. So one of the things I've been looking at these postings in these Facebook groups, particularly those women who, and it's primarily women. I think I've only seen 1 or 2 men post in these groups, but primarily women who are either just starting their journey towards gray or to natural hair. And I'd really like to think of it better, more as thinking of a journey to natural hair rather than a journey to gray. Even though gray is the natural shade that we're all going to end up. Um, it has been really interesting to see the difficulty in getting support that these women are experiencing. Um, there's not a single day that someone doesn't post that someone close to them has said that they has tried to discourage them by telling them if you go gray, you're going to look old. And sometimes it's old and ugly, like those things go together. That's kind of rude. It's really rude. It's really mean. It's just hateful. And so I was looking. I've kind of looked at these postings and said, okay, who is it that these women are getting this input from? Who is it that's telling them that going gray will make them old, will make them feel old? And it's usually other women. It's usually, occasionally, someone will post that it's a husband or a child, but predominantly, overwhelmingly, it's usually women of the same age or grown women at least. It's a sister or a sister in law or a mother in law. Sometimes it's a friend, but you don't need that kind of friend. And so I started thinking, why are these other people so invested in crushing this other person? I don't know. Maybe it makes them have to feel about confronting their own age. I mean, sisters aren't usually too far behind each other. I don't have any sisters, so I have sisters-in-law though, so I've watched those ladies interact with each other. Um, but I don't know. Maybe they have to confront their own aging in order to make someone else, to comment on someone else's gray. Um, but honestly, I don't think it's gray hair that makes us look old. Um, I think there are several reasons why gray hair gets associated with old. Um, I think one reason is that we have hidden age and valued youth exclusively for so long that we don't know what middle age looks like. There's either 25, 35, or 85. And so no, we don't recognize what normal 50 something looks like. We don't know what age people get gray hair because we cover it up, we hide it. And so people don't know. That's something that you do when you're 70. Well, no, it starts in your 20s and your 30s, and some of it catches up with earlier and some of it catches up with later. Some people are blessed to never be caught with gray hair. Um, I don't think it's really the hair that ages us. I think there are other life choices that, in combination, time makes us look older. And it's just inevitable. It's not my hair, it's the fact that I abused my skin when I was younger. The Sorry, my cats are having a convention outside. Um, it's the baby oil and iodine on the roof of the sorority house. It's the fact that I've raised two wonderful young adults, which means that I have laugh lines from laughing myself stupid, and I have some frown lines from teenage years. I worked 31 years as a nurse, so there's some grief and joy and anguish and joviality that lives on this face because this face has experienced things. Um, it's just part of who we are as people. It's not the hair, it's all of everything together. And I think it's not, it's as far as when it's time to go gray, everybody has a different time that they're ready. And so if you think you are ready to go on the gray journey, or you are contemplating gray journey in the future, see, these glasses age me too. It's not the hair, it's the glasses. So, there are some things about gray hair that are specific. Gray hair does tend to be thinner, although it does feel wirier because does tend to be drier. So you have to take care of gray hair so it's in good shape. Just like if you color your hair all the time, you have to take care of it to not damage it. It is drier. It needs more moisture. It is more easily damaged by heat, so hot pot blow dryers, flat irons, curling irons, they will scorch the ends, scorch hair and turn it yellow at the ends, and there are things that you can do to fix that. That's, having really pretty white hair rather than kind of yellowy hair tends to be more flattering, but some people have red or highlights, and that yellow is the last to go. I'm one of those. I had red highlights just normally, and so my hair does tend to get a little brassy. That's okay. That's my hair, period. Often, I think as we age and we get more marks and wear our years on our face, I think that gray hair softens some of that. It's very harsh to have a more mature skin and have obviously heavily darkly dyed hair. I think that's, if that makes you happy, you're there. But sometimes I think the grayer hair softens some of those features of aging and helps to, that's just how we're wired to look. And that's okay. If you are ready to go on that gray journey, find a hairdresser who will get on board with you going gray. Okay, our hairdressers can be wonderful allies in the journey towards gray. They can do things to ease that transition between this and this back here. They can make that skunk stripe line that keeps getting longer and longer. They can know how to mask that, and they can be really good allies as you transition to gray. But if you are ready to go gray, if you're in your mindset to go gray, and your hairdresser tells you, no, you're not ready to go gray yet, you need to find someone who's willing to support you in your journey. So talk to your friends who have made that journey and find out who the gray allies are in your communities. If you are going to use color to transition to gray, find a stylist who has experience working with gray transitions, because it's not just as easy as putting in some highlights and some lowlights. It's got to be a little more cohesive. Hair doesn't all come in gray at once. It starts getting grayer at the front, and then the gray will sort of shift and spread towards the back. I'm much grayer in the front than I am in the back, and near the nape of my neck, I'm still pretty dark. Although I was noticing today it's getting pretty gray there too. Time to get a trim. So it's really important that you find a hairdresser who is one, willing to support you on your journey, a decision that you've made, and two, has experience helping people with that transition, because you really do need someone who can understand how to cut the layers and to make those areas that are, to shade those areas well. First thing, though, I want you to understand is you don't have to ask anybody's permission to go gray. If you want to go gray, if you want to let your natural hair shine through, you do not owe anybody an explanation. You do not have to ask anybody's permission. I'm giving you permission um, to control this yourself. Okay? Don't give anybody else the power to choose for you. Um, don't give your friends, don't give your kids, don't give your sister in law um, a say in the matter. If they can either get on board or they can go on. Um, but this is your choice, your hair, your head, your life, your choice. And they don't have to be rude. If you ask their opinion, they will give it to you. If you don't want their opinion, don't ask it trying to look for support. Um, just being real, just trying to be real there. And finally, don't go gray until you're ready. Okay? If you are not ready, don't go because someone else is pressuring you or you think it's the fashionable thing to do. Go gray when it's your time, when you are ready. And when you do, it'll be totally worth the journey. Um, it really was. It's difficult because when you get about this much gray and the rest of it is a former color, it can be really discouraging to look in the mirror. But that's 3 or 4 months that you've already spent at this, and that if you stop, you'll have at some point in the future you'll be doing that again. So just if you are ready, do it. If you are not ready, continue as you are. Okay, but don't not do it because you're afraid it'll make you look older. Um, Gray hair it's just hair. It's just hair. It's just a different shade of hair. So I know this has been kind of a weird monologue, weird rant, weird advice column. I don't know what to call it, but I just needed to. I've seen so much lately that I just felt like I kind of needed to spit that out there, whether anybody sees this or not, or feels it's useful or not. Um, yeah, there it is. Anyway, so this is kind of a gray hair don't care day. Um, and whenever you decide to make this journey, it will be worth it and you will find your own beautiful self on the other side. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all later. Bye.